I'm Carol Blymeyer, and I'm in the business of influence. I coach organizations and individuals to tell their story as part of creating change that can improve the quality of life for families and individuals across America. Your personal experience with colorectal cancer can actually help save lives. You can give hope to someone who just got their diagnosis, or you can, talk to someone who just doesn't know if they can do one more round of chemo. Your experience might help inform them make that decision. Your voice and your advice is meaningful and really important. Telling your story actually is easy, whether it's on video or in writing. Here are three simple tricks to tell your story in a way that's memorable. Number one, keep it simple. Choose one part of your very long life story and tell that part really well. Number two, your journey with colorectal cancer certainly wasn't all unicorns and lollipops. It's okay to let a little emotion come through when you're telling your story. You're human, and humans use emotions to help connect with other humans. Number three, I just want you to be you. Be confident in who you are, where you've been, and where you're going, and practice telling your story everywhere you go. The more you tell it, the better you'll get at it. So you might be wondering, how do you look at your whole life and all of your experiences and pull out the most important and relevant pieces of your story? You have to think about who you're telling your story to. For example, if you are talking to a member of Congress or their staff, you want to share the part of your life that shows the struggle that you hope no one else has to go through. You'll have a very short amount of time when you tell your story on Capitol Hill or almost anywhere. You'll want to make sure you're respectful of your audience's time. So don't share your entire life timeline or recite your medical chart from memory. Talk about the impact that this disease has had on you as a human being. And again, create that emotional connection with your listener. You want to be memorable, make an impression. And you might be the first person that you're talking to that they've ever met who has had colorectal cancer. So you're giving a very scary disease a warm, kind, and human face and story. And that's really powerful. So you might be wondering, how exactly do I take my lifelong story and put it into some sense and make sure that I'm conveying the most important parts that my audience needs to hear, whether it's an audience of one, 100, or 1,000? There's a really great method called the 3-10-30 storytelling method. So the three, you make no more than 3 points in your story. You tell your story in 10 seconds. I know that sounds crazy. You can do it. And you use just 30 words. 3, 10, 30. 3 points that you make, 10 seconds of speaking, and only 30 words that you use. Let me give you an example of a public policy story that one of the advocates would tell when they go to visit a member of Congress or speak to them or their staff on Zoom. Here's how the 3-10-30 method would work in this situation. The person would say, I have colorectal cancer. Please fund NIH medical research to find a cure for me and prevention measures so that my kids and grandkids can be cancer free when they grow up. So you brought out 3 points. The first, I have colorectal cancer. Number two, please fund medical research. And number three, I want my family to be cancer free. I want the next generations to not have to go through what I went through. That story took, I think, if my timing was right, about 9 seconds. So 9 or 10 seconds. And I used no more than 30 words. This clocked in at 28 words. So you want to be succinct and to the point, and that's the way that you tell the short version of your story with a specific ask or a specific action that you want someone to take. When you're meeting other people for the first time, whether it's in a support group or even if you are attending a family reunion on Zoom and people haven't seen you in a long time, you can tell this very succinct story so that people get to know you. They get to know those top highlights. And then the rest of the details that are really important to you to share, that comes out in the conversation afterward. The telling your story part, very short, succinct, and to the point. And then the rest of it, when you've made that initial connection, you keep connecting through conversation. That helps build community and it really increases a sense of belonging. So, what can you do with all of this information and advice? You can do a few things. The first thing is to practice writing down your story on the 3-10-30 worksheet. There are a couple of spaces available on it, so you can practice writing and thinking through stories that you would tell to different audiences. So the worksheet will walk you through and provide space for you to be able to construct your 3-10-30 story. Another thing you can do is go to the Fight CRC website. There is space there, a good call to action that says, tell your story. There are questions and prompts and different ways to get you thinking about the experiences that you've had with colorectal cancer and the impact that it's had on you and your family and your loved ones. And you can share your story with Fight CRC. It might show up on their blog. They may want to feature it in a newsletter. They want to hear from you. They want to know what story you want to share, what keeps you going, how you want to help and inspire others. And I think the third thing you could do is just practice telling your story. Get really comfortable with it. Have confidence. No one else knows what it's like to go through colorectal cancer than you. Lived experience matters, and sharing that with other people to help them feel like they're not alone on this journey, that they've now met someone who understands them and their experience, that's a gift that's priceless. So work on your 3-10-30 worksheet. Go to the Fight CRC website and click on the Tell Your Story section and share your story with them and just practice telling it in everyday life. Again, by you telling your story and sharing your experience, you really can help save lives.
Hi, I'm Evelyn Reyes, and I'm a stage 3C colorectal cancer survivor. It can be so hard for some of us to get affordable treatment, but I'm here to make sure that others can get the treatment they need without going bankrupt.
My name is Joe Bullock, and I live in Durham, North Carolina. I'm a stage 3B colorectal cancer survivor. I'm a survivor because my wife and my general practitioner urged me to get a colonoscopy after I showed some simple symptoms of colorectal cancer. Early screening is the best defense against colorectal cancer. That's why I want to share my story of getting screened early.
My name is Ben White, and I'm a stage 3 colon cancer survivor. Like many other early onset colorectal cancer patients, I had a very difficult time getting a diagnosis. It's important for me to share my story, to raise awareness for the issue, and the hopes that other people down the line won't have to go through the same things I did to receive an earlier diagnosis.